Lawan, everything fine. We have, inshallah, debates between Mehdi Hassan and Jewish Sabu. MashaAllah, it's very interesting. This guys, MashaAllah, Muslim guys, of course. He's journalist. He working in the, I think, in Jazeera, and he have many program for the political and some leaders, etc. So we will see that video, inshallah, with Mehdi Hassan, a Jewish, and he every time he success, mashallah.
In the fighting in Gaza, not one. Is that by accident, or is that because Hamas can control? Hamas can control the information.
You asked me a question and you
Gaza.
said you would be brief. I haven't. You're right. But I have seen lots of children with my own lying eyes being pulled from the rubble.
Because they're the pictures Hamas wants you to see. Exactly
and also
my point,
because they're
Mehdi.
dead,
They're
Mark.
the pictures
also,
Hamas wants.
But there are also people that your government has killed. You accept that, right? You've killed children, or do you deny that?
No, I do not. I do not. I do not. First of all, you don't know how those people died, those children.
Oh, wow.
First of all, we don't want to see a single child killed.
Okay, here's my question to you, Mark. You say, I agree with you. I agree with you. We shouldn't blindly believe anything Hamas says. But why should we believe what your government says either? Your military spokesman on Monday pointed to an Arabic document in the basement of a Gaza hospital and claimed it was a Guardian list on which every terrorist writes his name. But that was false. It was just a calendar with the days of the week on it. Your colleague in the Prime Minister's office, Ophir Gendelman, posted behind-the-scenes footage from a Lebanese short film and claimed it was Palestinians in Gaza faking their own injuries. That tweet is still up a week later. That is endless disinformation from your government, is it not?
I disagree, and I think on the important issues, look, I'll give you an example, Mehdi. Originally, we estimated... No, answer your question. Allow me to answer your question. I'm answering your question directly, if you'll allow me.
But you're dodging my question, Mark.
I'm not sure that's true.
Why did your military spokesman on Monday point to a calendar in Arabic and say, these are the names of terrorists on them? That's false. Can you accept that here and now?
I'm not aware of the incident.
Let's put up the image. We have the image. You have no comment.
I can't read Arabic. It doesn't help me. I have no comment. I'm not familiar with the incident.
Does your spokesman read Arabic?
Hang on, I have a question, Mehdi. You're a journalist. Have you made a professional mistake ever? Not intentionally, but have you made a professional mistake?
Exactly, and I own up to it.
Have you made a mistake? So can you own up to the mistake? So if I've made mistakes, you've made mistakes, but there's a difference between making an honest mistake and between Hamas that deliberately exaggerates numbers to suit its propaganda purposes. There's a huge difference.
So it sounds like...
It's like...
hold on. You said propaganda. Can we just deal with your colleague Ophir Gendelman's tweet? It's still up 7 days later. Why has it not come down? It's a Lebanese short film. We can put it on screen. It's not Palestinians faking their own injuries. Can we own up to that mistake and take that down? Is that not propaganda?
Once again, I understand that was also a mistake. And
so why is it still up 7 days later?
I'll speak to Ophir about it if you like. I'll speak to Ophir about it if you like. He's a friend of mine and a colleague. I quite like him. He's a good man. He's actually very effective. Why is he effective?
Well,
he speaks mother tongue level Arabic. I agree, he made a mistake. But let's be clear. It's very good that we have someone who can speak Arabic in the Arab networks directly to Arab people, so they can hear Israeli opinions directly.
I appreciate
and
that.
Is amazing at that. He's very important.
Okay, thank you, Mark. I know you're short on time, much more short than me, so I'm going to keep going. What threat did Razan al-Najjar, 21-year-old volunteer paramedic, who was shot while wearing a white uniform in the chest 100 meters away from the fence, what threat did she pose to Israeli snipers?
Wait a minute. This is something I really looked into.
Okay. I'm glad someone...
Yes. She was having an incendiary bomb, and there is an investigation by the IDF, so she was a threat. But I have another question for you.
Where's your...
Why was she going into
You know why she was going?
Zone.
Because you're killing her people and she's a paramedic. You could choose not to kill people at a fence who are just damaging a fence, allegedly, as the UN, the EU, international lawyers have said. No other country shoots people in this way, in the back as they're running away. Let me ask you this. Yasser Murtaja, journalist, 30 years old, shot in the stomach by an Israeli sniper. He was 250 meters away from the fence. What knife did he carry? What knife was he carrying?
You can quote hundreds of names. If you look at them individually, I feel bad for them and for their families, even if they were coming to harm us.
I'm asking, how do you justify killing?
Because they came with a harm intention. If they were
Where's your proof of that? Yasser al-Murtaja was not Hamas. was a journalist. Your country shot him in the stomach, and you claim he had a hurtful intention. That's an outrageous claim to make someone that was dead without any evidence. That's literally smearing the dead.
Anyone who goes into a war zone knows exactly what he's doing.
What is a war zone?
When they come and attack us, it's a war zone.
He wasn't attacking you. If you pull a gun, you aim at someone, you shoot them. Remember, the Israeli military bragged on Twitter, we know where every bullet landed.
Mehdi, you go around the circle to the same point. And the point is that we have a border.
You don't have a
legitimate border.
You don't have a border,
they try
Danny.
to cross it.
Danny, Gaza is
flowers,
occupied territory.
Not with candies,
this nonsense that you have a border is absurd. Gaza is occupied territory. The people there are living in an open-air prison camp, and you're saying it's a border.
I beg to differ. Gaza
you beg
is
to
not
differ with the United Nations, the European Union, the International Criminal Court, every Western government. The International Committee for the Red Cross says Gaza is being treated with collective punishment. That's the view of the ICRC.
Mehdi,
can I ask a question? Does Israel control Gaza's borders, airspace, and territorial waters? Yes or no?
No. No.
Really?
Israel, no.
Wow.
Because
you're just going to come here and say barefaced falsehood.
No, the things.
So fishermen who go beyond 6 miles and get shot, they just imagine the bullets hitting them. And when General Zvika Vogel, former head of Southern Command, said in April, if a child or anyone else gets close to the fence, his punishment is death. You support that death penalty for anyone who comes near a fence?
I don't agree to that, except if he is holding a weapon.
Mohammed Ibrahim Ayub, 14 years old, was not holding any weapon. Israeli sniper shot him in the head. Did he deserve to die?
No one deserves to die.
So why did the Israeli sniper shoot him in the head?
Unless they aim to kill.
He wasn't aiming to kill. So why was he shot in the head?
I'm not sure. If you look at the facts.
What are the facts?
The facts
there's no transparent investigations. You don't allow any international investigators in, and then you say, trust you, that the nurse had a bomb and a 14-year-old guy was going to kill a sniper.
I do trust the Israeli military. I do trust the Israeli Supreme Court, which is very much trusted by all the world. Israel is transparent. Well, I'm sorry.
That's not what human rights groups in Israel say.
I may say things which may be inconvenient truth.
They're also not true.
How else do you get rid of Hamas if you don't go about it in the blunt, brutal manner that Israel is doing? And if you do it the way they're doing it, how do you avoid the kind of casualty rate of people under 18, given that that's half the population?
So, 3 things very briefly. Number 1, you do it by not deliberately targeting civilian targets and schools and hospitals and cemeteries and mosques and universities and churches. You don't have snipers shooting at hospitals or Christian women inside a church. That's how you avoid the casualties. Number 2, I don't accept the premise of your question that this is the way to defeat Hamas. I think even if I'm an Israeli hawk, I criticize Netanyahu and say, this is not the way to defeat Hamas. This is actually absurd to think you can defeat Hamas in this way. We have countless episodes from history that show us this is not how you defeat a guerrilla movement, a resistance movement, a terror group, as you say, whatever word you want to use. In fact, you have Israeli generals saying this can't be done in this way. And number 3, look, the reality is Hamas is a symptom of the problem. As long as you treat Hamas as the problem rather than as a symptom of the problem, you're never going to get rid of Hamas. Or if you do, by some fantasy means, get rid of Hamas, you'll just get another version of Hamas, because now you've got tens of thousands of orphans. You've got people who've lost their kids, their spouses, their siblings. What, you think they're not going to fight back in the years to come? You think they're not going to take revenge?
That's how I feel.
It's absolute madness to believe.
I feel the same way.
Then we agree. I think you're being a little too generous to the Israelis here, and with the greatest respect, I think your questions reflect a little bit of a naivety about what Israel's doing here. You're starting from the premise that Israel is trying to defeat Hamas. I don't accept that premise. I don't believe that's what Israel is trying to do.
What do you think they're trying to do?
They wouldn't be doing it this way. I think they're trying to take back Gaza. I think they're trying to erase the resistance in Gaza. I think they're trying to get rid of the people from Gaza. I think this is they've mowed the lawn, as they put it in previous wars. This time they're going in to erase the population. There's a plausible genocide.
Okay, but let me ask you that.
If you listen to Israeli officials, as you know, it's laid out in the South African petition, they are very genocidal in their approach to flattening and burning down Gaza. It's not about destroying Hamas. And if it was about destroying Hamas, why has Netanyahu and Smotrich and others talked about how Hamas is an asset to Israel? Why do they say that openly, Pete?
Mehdi, why is Israel singled out?
Yeah, I don't accept the premise of the question, obviously. It's interesting you should say that Israel's singled out. There's a little R going out. Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, go back on YouTube and see that the first Intelligence Squared debate I did was not about Israel. I came here a few months ago to talk about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and its human rights abuses. So before I even turned up for Israel, I came to condemn Saudi Arabia. I get it. There are lots of UN resolutions condemning Israel. I get that. But if you look at actual practical sanctions, there are no sanctions on Israel from Western countries for human rights abuses. There are against Syria, there are against Russia, there are against Iran, there are against North Korea. So no, I don't think Israel's being singled out. I'd actually like to see sanctions put on Israel so it's treated like other human rights abuses. Consistency. single standard. I mean, I would be critical of your double standards, Piers. You constantly criticize Hamas for genocidal goals. And I just pointed out to you that the Israeli finance minister said this week he wanted the total annihilation of Gaza. Do you agree that's genocide?
No, listen, I definitely think some of the members of that cabinet have used rhetoric which I think borders on genocidal. No question. But it's not as blatant.
Borders. Why not just genocidal, Piers? Why borders?
Well, OK. Look, you say it's genocidal.
Total
I would say
annihilation of Gaza.
Yeah, I would say it's deeply inflammatory rhetoric, but it's not quite the same as the Hamas spokesman saying on camera after October the 7th, we are going to keep doing this again and again and again. That's different.
It's much worse because the Israelis are literally doing it as we speak.
And they have a charter to get rid of...
It's much worse, Piers,
they have a
because
charter
the
to
Israelis
eliminate
have killed
Israel.
tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, but see,
they have tens of thousands of Palestinians.
You and I, Mehdi...
Hold on, Piers. Yeah. So does the Likud party. 1977 Likud party charter. What does it say? Between the sea and the Jordan, there will only be Israeli sovereignty. River to the sea. That's the Likud charter, Piers. I haven't heard you criticize the Likud charter.
Douglas, you're the guy... Sorry, let's just be clear. You're the guy who denied earlier that what you said in The Spectator... Let's just be the clear content. We're talking about October 7th. 5 days after October 7th, you said, maybe they will finally put an end to this insoluble nightmare, raise Hamas to the ground, or clear all the Palestinians from that benighted strip. It could be a good time to do it, but